tear gas first started down the commons, then the guard moved up on both sides of Taylor Hall and forced the kids off the commons.
Leave this area immediately.
And then I saw people dropping to the ground, and then I fell to the ground also.
50 years ago to the day, plangent gunfire rang out across the Kent State University campus, where protesters gathered to denounce the Vietnam War and the American government's direct bombing of Cambodia. Here we lie, once again, entrenched in a war, yet no longer in Southeast Asia, but rather against a deadly virus destroying our economy, our livelihoods, and jeopardizing our own survival. And once again, we are a country divided by conflict and mistrust, under which conditions we should instead be unified. With the death toll soaring above 50,000 and the prospects of thousands more to be lost, we cannot afford division amongst ourselves, nor do we bear the luxury to disobey the health safety guidelines put in place to protect us.
When people gather that way without masks, they were in close proximity, they were touching one another, that's how COVID-19 spreads. And so the sad irony here is that the protest was that they don't like being in this stay-home order, and they may have just created a need to lengthen it, which is something that we're trying to avoid at all costs.
In honor of those who could not stand injustice, I too protest like the Kent State University students who fought for the lives of innocents and demanded action from the American government. I am protesting for my home, for the safety of my community, and of these innocents today, whose lives claimed by the virus are not the sacrifices claimed to regain your freedom.
People die from all kinds of things every day. That's just the way of life. The people that are getting sick are the people that are already compromised in the first place. They're usually older, they're unhealthy. I'm sorry for them.
I am protesting in my home to honor healthcare workers who face unwavering danger, yet are met by some with belittlement and are ridiculed.
All you're going to do is start trouble, and everybody's going to end up going to jail. They won't just take you to jail and her to jail, they'll take everybody to jail, and it'll be on your record for the rest of your life. Is it worth it?
We have a right to be here too.
I am protesting in vindication of human rights and social justice in confronting the sheer lack of proper intervention and empathy exemplified by the American government as unemployment drastically rises, small businesses are neglected, and the healthcare system is overexerted. I also protest in the name of those who do not have the ability to protest. The bombings of an innocent country where Cambodians are currently left in utter destitution still carry this trauma and the physical and mental ailments that came with it 50 years later. The poor state of the country has immensely worsened with the pandemic. They have an inadequate healthcare system, are forced to catch their meals of snails, frogs, and snakes from the jungle, and have lost their meager paying jobs and have by no means whatsoever to support their desperate families. I do not condemn the actions of selfish American people. Rather, I ask you to think before you act. To think of the protesters before you who lost their lives on that campus. To think of the bruised and battered healthcare workers. To think of those fighting against a deadly disease and to those who have already tragically lost that battle. To think of my Cambodian friends who have entirely lost all of their freedoms. You dishonor and you shame them when you put your own privilege before your own humanity. We are a united nation, so let us act like one to overcome our common enemy, which is not each other, but COVID-19.